Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to the Subpar Mechanics podcast, where we talk about gaming and anime and everything in between. My name's Alljay. We got our host Brian. Say what's up.
What's up, everybody? How y'all doing?
And we got our boy JB over here. Say what's up.
What's poppin', peeps?
Cool.
Perfect. Yeah,
How's everybody?
welcome, everybody. Yeah,
So
you know,
it's been
it is.
it's been a good 2 weeks. How you guys doing?
It's been a boring 2 weeks for us. We're still in lockdown. We're still doing it. Hey, but you know what? We're lifting restrictions finally. We can gather outside in groups of 5 as long as you're 2 meters distant apart.
That's such an eye roll. Like, come on, Doug Ford. Come on, government. Like, I'm just eye rolling with all that. Like, yeah, you guys are allowed to go outside, but just stay away. Like,
Stay 2
like
meters apart.
Can that be the running meme of the podcast? Is we just pray for Rob Ford's unholy return?
Jesus Christ. That's not how I wanted to start this, so I'm going to move swiftly past that. Anyways, yeah, no, at least we've got a framework. You know, the 14th, apparently, we're supposed to start lifting into... Alljay, I'm so mad, though. Gyms aren't supposed to be open till, like, fucking August.
Oh, I've heard.
August, bro. We were sitting here like, yeah, we can't wait for the fitness segment of our podcast to start once gyms are open. Then we find out, yeah, they're not opening till August. And we're like, are you kidding me? Yeah, that's what's been going on in our lives. Also, I got my first shot of my vaccine on Thursday. Pretty hyped about that.
Hey, same here. Fun times. They're pretty efficient.
Did you actually get it on Thursday, too?
No, I did it on Saturday.
When you said same here, I was like, wait, you actually get it done on Thursday, too? Same day and everything?
Cool.
But, yeah.
Well, yeah, man, it was pretty standard. It's a quick in and out, you know, like you spend 15 minutes over there and you're done.
Yeah. So, I mean, hopefully, you know, we've got that done and maybe restrictions will start easing in the next 7 weeks and we'll have something to talk about instead of just, yeah, we're still in lockdown. We still have nothing going on.
Yeah. And
that's
the dream, right? Like for everyone to get like vaccinated and like all these restrictions get like lifted and stuff. But I don't know. I don't see that happening.
Like, I mean, to be fair, most of the science is pointing to is like as soon as you get your first shot, you've got most of the coverage, right? Like you and I are mostly covered at this point, right?
Oh.
We're mostly safe.
Which one did you guys get?
I got Moderna.
I believe I actually didn't check. Maybe I should have checked, but because the thing is they were giving out either Pfizer or Moderna, and I don't think you get an option. I don't think you get an option as to which one you get. So I don't even know which one.
But
I've not heard.
You do, but realistically, you should just take whichever one they're giving you.
Exactly. Yeah, pretty much.
I don't know. I've not met a single person who's actually gotten the Johnson & Johnson vaccine.
One of the dudes in my WoW guild has gotten it, but he's the only one that I know who has it.
I think Heidi got the Pfizer. I'm pretty sure my sister got the Pfizer. Like, most people I know have gotten the Pfizer one because that one just seems a little bit more prevalent in my area of the United States.
I know my mom got Pfizer. I know I got Moderna, and that's about it. I don't know what my sister got. And I don't know what anyone else got. But anyways, now that we've gotten our in real life segment out and what we've been up to, boys, I heard you guys have some exciting anime discussions for us this week.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't personally, because I've just been I've been watching oldie shit that I can talk about, like, ugh. But I heard through the grapevine that Alljay finally took a recommendation.
Sure. But yeah, Demon Slayer, yo, I fucking love it actually, and surprisingly enough, My girlfriend's not one for being into like anime, but I put her on it and like we just binged it the whole day. And great story, great animation. I don't want to like say too much about the actual story just because you know there's people that haven't watched it, whatever. But no, are you caught up? Did you finish the season 1?
I watched all of it when it was airing with a couple friends. It was really good.
Yeah. Yeah. What'd you think about what'd you think about the movie? I don't want to. Yeah, it's hard to talk about it without spoiling it. But what'd you think about the movie?
Oh, dude, I liked the movie a lot. Like, I'd go as far as to say I think it is just slightly above all of season one because like the animation story, the original music for it is what surprised me. Is they did really good with the music.
Yeah, yeah. The honestly, I'm kind of I'm kind of bummed with the direction that they took like at the end. Like I didn't like that result because you know most animes have like kind of like power systems and there's like rankings as to like who are like the most powerful people, whatever. Oh, I'm kind of like this is kind of a spoiler kind of thing. Okay, never mind. I just don't
No,
appreciate
it's
what
not
they
even
did.
that. I just thought of something that we could talk about later. It just light bulb in my head. I
Oh,
was
I
like,
got
oh,
you.
that sounds super cool.
Bulb.
Light bulb, right? I was like, oh, I've got a good idea
Dude,
for something
nah,
we can
I
discuss
get
later.
I get what you're saying, Alljay, because without any spoilers, just
It's
seeing
I'm dancing around the spoiler. Yeah.
just seeing how powerful some of the people in this series are, especially compared to, let's say, the main cast, just the main
Hmm.
cast, not any in particular.
Yeah.
It's a little appalling, and it's also like slightly disappointing because after all the hard work they went through season one, you're like, damn,
Damn, you're not even close
that's what
to
I was.
where you have to be,
Yeah,
kind of thing. You know.
that's exactly what I was thinking when I watched it. But it also kind of like it gave me hope. Like, oh shit, what are we gonna see in season fucking two?
Right? Because these anime, they're bound to get power ups at some point, and you
Dude,
know, and that kind of just tells me
what you talking about? I just assume every anime is like Dragon Ball Z. Once they get their shit kicked in enough times, they're gonna get more powerful.
exactly.
Fair
I
enough. I
mean,
mean,
I'm looking forward to it. Like even with how that movie ended, I'm looking forward to like what happens next, like with Tanjiro and you know. One thing I can say though, I don't think they've showcased Zenitsu like enough because like I think he's such a cool like his power at least like his character himself he's kind of a simp like it's whatever typical anime like trope there's got to be a simp in the group but the power that he actually has like I think he could like there's a lot of power potential kind of thing
Yeah,
just with him.
I'm really hoping in a later episode or later arc of the anime that he has a like almost like a come to Jesus moment, as they would say it in the South, where he just was
Yeah.
like, wait, why am I being stupid? I'm a badass.
Right? And there's been moments that they've done that in the series, but it was just not enough kind of thing. It was just like they gave you a little bit, but it's like, nah, psych kind of thing, you know?
It's like that
And
old
that's
Dago
what I was,
commercial. I got $1 for
yeah.
you. I got $1 for you. Oh, too slow.
Yeah, and that's what I feel like. Yeah, honestly, I'm excited for season two. And isn't it coming this summer? I haven't been keeping up.
I think it's winter season, but I haven't been following anime. Like I've been following anime, but I haven't been keeping up on dates for stuff because all like the past 2 weeks I just been binge watching old stuff. Except for Don't Toy with Me, Miss Nagatoro. That's been a constant watch. That one's just a stupid fucking joke anime, but I personally enjoy it.
I mean, you've both now seen the movie though, so you can both give a spoiler-free review of the movie of what you guys think about it.
Fucking fantastic. Watch it.
Please watch it. That's all there is to it.
Or
Don't be
you
like.
guys like?
Oh, go ahead, Brian.
I was gonna say, you guys like the flow of it. You know, is there a particular part that you really enjoyed, or is it just the whole thing like absolutely 10 out of 10 experience?
It does a part where it goes into a bit of an intrusive moment with each character, and two of the characters I wasn't a fan of, but then the other two characters I really enjoyed because it was just a
We're
very
allowed to say names. You're allowed to say names.
yeah, Inosuke and Zenitsu. I did not like theirs that much. I understood them and they were good for what the character was, but compared to Tanjiro and God, I forgot the fire dude's name because it's been like
Goku.
Rengoku. Rengoku's was kick ass because I wanted to
Ooh.
know more about Rengoku.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but Tanjiro's just fucking made me sad. It was awesome.
Yeah, like I had a little sad sinking feeling at the end. But no, it's what it is. What I really liked about how they made Tanjiro is he has this like next level like determination that he's willing to like
My God, you're not wrong.
right
Like the
right.
fact that he uses
The
it to beat the demon, and you're like, what?
it's like I could never, and it's just like Brian, please watch it. No, it's
Just
giving me
immediately.
goosebumps because it's like the fact that you can do that, and like at some point he wasn't sure whether. Okay, I think this wouldn't be a spoiler. I wouldn't consider this a spoiler. The enemy puts him in a dream state.
I mean, anything that's in like promotional media for it is not going to be spoilers, right? Like if you watch the trailer for it and you could see all of that stuff in the trailer, then that's not a spoiler, right?
I don't
People
want to
could have already
continue
seen it.
then. I
Yeah.
don't want to continue then. But no,
Yeah, exactly.
JB knows. JB knows.
Yeah, to put it in a spoiler-free way, the demon, like many other demons, can alter the mind of humans, and the way that Tanjiro beats this shows a true test of determination that they actually don't often put. Like every anime character has the determination to do some crazy wild shit because that's just how the story is woven, but for this one to be animated the way it was and to be a pretty big center focus of the movie, it's really interesting because of the shock value of it and the fact of it's it's visual storytelling at its finest, of being able to show what this character can do if he is pushed to the limits.
Just the pacing itself, they made it very easy to follow and kind of
It,
tighten it.
it felt just like one big ass long episode. It flowed great.
Yeah, yeah. An example without giving any spoilers that I can give them, would be from the MCU, like Doctor Strange. You know how he fights. What's his name? Dormammu. Do you remember that? Do you guys remember that at all?
I do.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the best example I can think of, at least.
And coming back from that, sorry guys, we had a couple internet issues, but Alljay, you were talking about Doctor Strange and how that relates.
Yeah. So in the movie, basically, without giving any spoilers, it kind of reminded me of the scene in Doctor Strange where, like the MCU Doctor Strange, where he fights Dormammu, and Dormammu keeps kicking the shit out of Doctor Strange. But Doctor Strange just comes back anyway. And he was. That's the closest thing. It doesn't exactly. Like, it doesn't exactly reflect how the story was told in Demon Slayer, but that's what it reminded me of, pretty much.
You feel that, JB?
That's a pretty accurate summary because very close, but not the same because
Not quite, yeah.
in the MCU movie they tried to make it much more of a joke, where in Demon Slayer it was a lot more serious.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, well, anything else you guys been watching for the past 2 weeks or you want to bring up and discuss?
For the classic weebs out there, finally went back and watched a couple oldies. Like I watched The Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya, which is really fucking weird, but I enjoyed it a lot because it's about this guy named Keon who is a normal high schooler, but then he becomes friends with this girl named Haruhi Suzumiya who, unbeknownst to him, has apparently the ethereal powers of a god and can create a new world and delete the old one as she wants. So then she starts this club activity at school so she's never bored, and somehow a time traveler, an Esper, and an alien join the club to stop this girl from being able to destroy the world. And Keon's just like, shit, man, I just want to live. Like, what the fuck's going on? It was a good fun. The only thing I fucking hated is they had an arc. It was 8 episodes. 8 episodes of them being stuck in a time loop. So 40% of all 8 of those episodes was the same goddamn thing.
Fair enough.
It's good
Hey,
for
man, filler.
storytelling. It's good for storytelling, but I was getting so fucking heated. I was at work skipping through half the episode. It felt like on episode 7 before the final one. I've got to be honest. Like I straight up skipped the entire episode almost because I was like, seen it, seen it, seen it. Oh, no new
Been
developments.
there,
Seen
done
it.
that.
Yeah, I know there's gonna be some. If we had a big enough fan base, there'd be at least like 50 people who would be like, "What the fuck's wrong with you, man?"
How about you, Alljay? You watch that, or you got anything else you've been watching?
Started re-watching Soul Eater.
That's a
Yeah,
fucking goodie, mate.
yeah, it's a real goodie. For those of y'all that don't know what Soul Eater is,
AKA me.
it's basically like it's a school, right? And I guess they're all under like Grim Reaper or Death, and he's like this really wholesome character. I don't know. I thought it's just quirky, and like this is probably why I liked watching it. But Death, this big boss man, he's just like this wholesome, quirky guy. But basically, the main characters are Death the kid, his son. This other guy. Fuck. Why can't I think of her name? Maka and no, that's a chick. Maka and Black Star, right? And they have their own like weapons that are basically these weapons are actually people that can transform into weapons, and it's like just super dope. And they basically their goal, and in season 1 is they're trying to get like 99 demon souls, Kishin souls, whatever, and 1 witch soul to kill. Once they kill like all of them and consume those souls, the weapon partner becomes like a weapon of death kind of thing
A death scythe.
a death scythe, basically. For I don't know how to refer to death. Like he's the Grim Reaper, right?
Yeah, no, he is the personification
He's
of
death.
death itself,
Yeah,
but turned into a character because for several story reasons, Death kind of acts childish because he doesn't want to present himself like he used to be known in what would be like standard European tradition of him being a skeleton monster.
scary looking. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But yeah, no, I like they all have their own quirks. Like Death the kid, his son, has a weird thing about symmetry, and like which is the main reason why he has 2 weapon partners. These 2 girls that turn into like pistols.
He needs perfect balance, or else he
He
hates
needs perfect
everything.
balance. Exactly.
Maka is a perfectionist because her mom and dad were the youngest uh, Meister's weapon duo to make a death scythe, but then they got divorced and Maka's depressed about it. Black Star is the black sheep of a criminal clan that got wiped out, so he's trying to rebrand himself while also being a dumbass.
Mostly
Uh,
being a dumbass.
Liz and Patty, the Thompson twins of all things. I love that one. Death's weapons, Liz and Patty, they're just normal girls who grew up being criminals because they were orphans, and then they turned out to be like just his partners and were good people. Tsubaki is a very quiet, gentle girl who most weapons only have 1 form, but she has like 5 forms, and it's explained in 1 episode. Really cool. And then Soul Eater's just a random scythe. He's just there.
Yeah. Honestly, I like the aesthetics of how the artwork, like how Soul works. Like he looks cool as fuck. I don't know. You guys should Google it. Google it, listeners, please.
Dog, when I was like 13, I wanted to dress like that. I've been like, yo, this hip as shit.
I know. They all kind of got their own drip going on,
That's what I'm talking about. Like, Black Star in the 2nd season where he gets that slightly longer shirt and it has the turtleneck on it.
Yeah.
That should be looking dope as fuck.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fair
Yay,
enough, fair enough.
individuality.
All right, so now what I wanted to bring up, because I feel like this could be a fun little discussion, what would our power rankings be if we were in our own anime, right? So someone were to write one about us, right? what would our power rankings be as the three of us in that?
Well, in strength, I think you guys would have me beat just because of your consistent gym time and the fact that I don't know about Alljay, but I know Brian used to do Olympic weightlifting in school.
Alljay did too.
Okay, yeah, so I could lift a lot of poundage, but I think you guys are a little bit more toned at it, so that the strength category would definitely be beat. You guys would have a higher power level. But
I like to hear that.
random bullshit intelligence, I got you beat.
Oh man, is that the? All right, so fair enough. Alljay, what do you think our niches would be? Because he kind of put us in the same category.
Like, as far as like what type of like how we would deal damage, or like what weapons we would wield.
Yeah, right. Like, what would our characters more so specialize at, right? Because he kind of put us in both of a closer power level than him, right? So we'd be in a higher power level. But what would our niches be, right? Knowing both of us and knowing anime the way you do, what would you say?
Just honestly, I would put myself in like a brawler type category where it's like you power up the more angry you get type of thing. And that's just me. It's just like a personal thing. Like I would put myself in that type of category. Brian, I would probably say like you'd probably be more like, and this is just completely based on how you look, probably like stealthy, like stealthy, assassinish type. Yeah, I don't know.
Man, how ironic that his favorite WoW class is Rogue.
I mean, also one of my favorite video game series of all time is Assassin's Creed. You know, like, well, it was, but you know, R.I.P. Assassin's Creed. We're not getting into that right now, but here's one that'll end the friendship real quick, though. Who would be the protagonist? Neither of you want to answer that one, huh?
You don't think we're the protagonist?
No, I'm a supporting character in my own show. The fuck you mean?
I'm the main character of my own show, but then I could be the side character of Brian's show, and I could also be a side character.
Yeah, no, but that's the point,
show.
right? Like, if we were to create a show with the three of us, right? Who would be the main character, and who would be the, the gang, right?
I mean, if we're going off the podcast layout, if Brian's the host, he would be the protagonist. But also, fuck you, Brian. I'm better than you.
Alljay, what do you think?
I don't know. I'd be the very reliable, like bad at, like everyone fucking loves not side character, right hand man to the protagonist. I don't want to say
right?
who
Like,
the
none of us
protagonist
would be
is.
side characters, right? Like, none of us would be showing up once every 10 episodes or some shit, right? Like, we'd all be the main characters. It's just who would be the protagonist, right? Whose story would we be following? Because we would be following all of our stories together, right? We'd be a gang, but there's always the leader in the gang, right?
Freeze frame. My name's Brian. I bet you're wondering how I got here. And this is the story of how I got the best podcast on the internet.
I love it.
And my life is pretty crazy.
Oh, man, I love it. I feel like that was a great segment. I'm glad I thought of talking about that.
Oh, wait. I got an interesting one. If you guys had your own show, what intro music would you have? What style of intro music would you have?
I've got no idea, honestly.
You don't want like big band, giant energy, or like a silent guitar piece that plays in smoothly. Like, what you feeling?
No, I mean, like, obviously for me, like, you know me, I'm a fucking hype beast. I'd have to have the most hype intro music of all time.
You're gonna get Crystal Dynamics to make another fucking TV intro for late night television.
Exactly, right? Like, I would need something stupid levels of hype. Like, as soon as you hear it, you're just immediately ready. Like, we've all watched How I Met Your Mother. You know Barney's Awesome Mix when he's like, it's all rise? That would be my intro music. Just all rise. It starts high and it ends high. There is no coming down, right? Like, I'm not about that chill shit. I am a hype beast, right? But beyond that, like, I have no idea, right? Because my music taste is so varied and there's so many different ways it could go, right? All I know is that it would just have to be one of the most hype pieces of music to ever exist. How about you, Alljay?
to the Fire and Flames Dragon Force.
You know what? Fair enough. I mean, good luck getting the rights to it, but fair enough.
No, wait, we never gone over JB though. Like if I'm
Yeah, I
like
was
a
about to
brawler
ask it.
type and Brian's like an assassin type, in my personal opinion, I think you would be like a front line, like kind of like tank, like badass, just like picking people up and tossing them and shit for no reason.
Dude, I would love to do that, but I fucking feel like I would be a cleric at this point because the whole
Yeah,
the whole perception of my personality is I'm a big dude who has soft, gentle words. That's what most people would say.
Oh, like
plus we do
and
hit the gym a
which,
lot more than him, so you know, we have the physical strength.
yeah, fair enough. Android, nah, you strike me as an Android 16 type of guy.
Hell yeah, that was one of my. I love Android 16. He's so fucking cool.
Sweetheart, but like don't fuck with him, you know.
Hey man, I I like those odds. At least somebody will believe that's how I present myself. It's complete bullshit, and I'm a fucking mess. But oh well.
Fair enough. Fair enough. All
And
right.
to finish it
Go
off,
on.
my intro music, I'd have to go with something. I'd have to go with something very similar, probably completely hype up, or it would be some melancholy shit to throw people off.
Fair enough. Fair enough. All right. Anything else you guys want to discuss on this topic before we bring it to a close?
Yo, wait, no, Alljay, it's gonna be Bluebird.
Bluebird.
Yeah, fuck
Nice.
yeah.
Nice. That's sick, actually. Good choice, good taste.
All right. Well, I think with that, we're gonna draw the anime segment of the show to a close. So, JB, you ready for the gaming segment?
Yeah.
All right. What you been playing, bud?
Well, yesterday I somehow got roped into playing the forest with my boy Hayden, my buddy Eli, and Hayden's girlfriend Rin. And I gotta say, I've never been a big fan of like survival style games like that where you have to grab stuff, build stuff, then go do other shit. Like, just because I like open world games, but I have to be in a certain mood. I like linear stories because I like following a story, finding out what's going on, then beating it. And like, I save the open world stuff for when I feel like doing 100% of everything. But I've been really enjoying it. Like, I I said it to my friend the other day. I was like, "Oh, we're crash landed in this wild forest. Time to do imperialism 2.0. Come on, Ooga Booga."
Fair enough. Fair enough. I mean, anything else you've been playing? Anything else you want to bring up?
I mean, I've just been. Oh yeah, SMT3 dropped. Fucking hell, man! Like, uh, this one's for the weebs and the gamers out there. Shin Megami Tensei is a great RPG, and you should play it. I don't care which one you play because they're all really good, and they're not all connected, so you don't have to play them all. But SMT3 just got remastered. Play it, peeps. It's cool as fuck and got kick-ass music.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, I mean, you know, for me, it's a lot of the same. You know, play WoW 3 days a week. You know, still grinding Xenoblade. You know, just doing my thing. I've also been playing a lot less games this past couple weeks because I've been prepping to get back into EU4 because I promised our buddy Talise that I would play with him whenever my guild manages to kill Sire Denathrius. So
There's
I've been doing a lot of studying on the new DLCs that came out for it, so that way I can, you know, kind of get back into the game because I haven't really played it in the past year.
Do you like a Civilization, Brian?
It's alright, but I don't know.
Does Talise like it?
I don't know actually. You'd have to ask him.
Well, because Civ 6 is on sale right now, and I kind of want to get back into it because I like it, but EU4 is a bit harder than. And that's a lot
Yeah.
to handle. But
EU4 is a very large game with a lot going on.
there's a couple of, like, I guess, simulation style games like that that I would love to get people interested in. Like, really cool one that I'll send a video to you after the podcast. It's called Endless Space 2.
Yeah.
It's It's really cool. I really like it. It's basically Civilization in space, but with more mechanics and a little bit deeper stuff.
Yeah.
Also, I'm a sucker for anything that includes space travel and aliens because I think that shit's dope as fuck.
Fair enough. Yeah, I mean, I've got 530 hours on EU4, so I'm kind of a little bit experienced on it, but I'm still like nowhere near like the actual
You're
good
still a
players. The actual
child to
good
most.
player, yeah, right. Like the actual good players are all like 8,000 hours in, and they still learn new shit every once in a while. And I'm just like, bro, I'm 530 hours in.
I,
Like, I ain't got shit.
the same dude who made an Endless Space 2 video, I'm gonna send you his EU4 video because I just want I want your reaction to see how true some of the shit is. Because he talked about there was this one thing where one of his rulers went insane and married a horse.
That's more of a CK3 thing
It
than
is,
CK2.
you're not wrong, but
Yeah.
it was hilarious to me because he's talking about how his person went insane, married a horse, and then he's like, "Oh, I can't make the horse my ruler or anything." But then he had children between the horse and the ruler, and he was able to promote all of his horse children to the dukes and shit, and it was fucking hilarious.
Yep, that sounds like CK3. Like Talise was talking about how like 10 years into his CK3 game, his queen was like now a nudist and she was following like pagan religions and shit. And I'm like, yeah, that sounds like an average CK3 game in a nutshell.
I mean, that sounds like humanity in the past.
But yeah, another big thing we need to talk about, Mass Effect Legendary dropped this past week. It dropped last week, right? Yeah,
I'm about to
something like
risk it
that.
all and buy it, even if I can't, like, because I really want to play it.
Dude, like the gameplay from Mass Effect 1 Remastered just looks so good. It genuinely looks really good.
It kind of sucks because I was actually mid playing through Mass Effect 3 since I finally got all the DLC.
Yeah.
But I'm willing to risk it all and go back because I fucking love those games.
Dude, like I said, Mass Effect 1 actually looks really good now. Like, it was very dated before, but now it actually looks like a modern game, and I really want to play it and see how it plays now.
I'm
Um, One thing I have heard, though, is that Mass Effect 2 is a lot buggier now than it was before, and Mass Effect 2 was already a pretty buggy game.
I will say I'm a bit biased on Mass Effect 1 being as it was my favorite even after all this time because I really
Yeah.
I like the more harsh RPG elements because
I mean, those are all still there, right? It's just it got a fresh lick of paint and actually like plays and looks like a modern game, whereas before it was very, very clunky.
yeah, I just wish they would have kept some of those in 2 and 3. I understand why they didn't, but it
Yeah.
makes me sad personally because like have you ever played Knights of the Old Republic? BioWare's one of BioWare's most beloved RPGs.
I haven't, but it's on the list to eventually play.
Dog, actually, if you buy it on Steam, you'll have to do some work to get it to run properly because the newer systems.
Yeah.
Honestly, I bought it on my phone for $2 and played through the whole thing. Ran great.
Fair enough, fair enough. Yeah, I mean, it's on the list. It's just my list is long, and I'll probably never finish the list before I die, but that's kind of how games work, you know?
Oh,
It's
dude,
like my list of movies, too. I've got a really long list of movies. Gonna take me forever to get through them, but we trug through. We try.
if I were to realistically beat every game that I have on my backlog, I would be well into my 50s.
Yeah, sounds about right. Alljay's just sitting here looking like, damn, you guys played that many games? What the fuck, bro?
Well, that's just
I got a
Kinda just like
question.
League of Legends is too much for me.
It's
Yeah.
just talking about like everything that I know and think about. Like if I'm talking about games that I would truly enjoy and want to play through before I die, it's not that big of a list, but being a gamer means trying shit I don't really know about. Maybe I'll find something new that puts in the top ranks.
Speaking of
Fair
trying
enough, right?
shit, though, I got a question for you guys. Have either one of you played Spore? I don't know if I brought this up last time because
Spore.
I don't know if Spore is worth the $30 at this point. And
I
I'm really
mean,
considering like people like the game, but apparently like servers shut down. Like you can't really play online or anything like that anymore. So I don't know if it's worth $30 at this point.
yeah, I would wait for it to go on sale. Like the Steam Summer Sale is coming up very shortly because it always happens in like what, June or July, JB?
Yeah, no, it's coming up June. What game did he say? My headset was having
Spore.
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 Oh fuck, Dude, yeah, if that goes on sale for $10, pick it up. It's a
Yeah.
fun time. Like
That's what I was going to say. Like, Spore is an absolutely great game. I own it. You're right, the servers did go down, so you can't play multiplayer anymore on it, but it's still a fantastic game. Like, if you can get it for $10 on the Steam sale, which is not unrealistic because of how old it is definitely worth the $10. I don't know if I'd pay the full 30, but again, right? Steam sale's coming up in June, right? It's
Yeah.
probably going to go on sale for like 10 or $15, if not less. Pick it up for that much, you'll definitely get your money's worth for it. It is a really good game.
hell, if you can't get it during summer sale, wait till they have a sale every like 2 months now. They have Golden Week for the Japanese holiday where they do a bunch of RPGs. They have summer sale. They usually do something
Winter
for
sale.
Black Friday for August. Well, not August, but for November and fall time. Winter sales, and then anytime a publisher wants to have a big sale on their clearance, on like Capcom, every year or so they have a big ass Capcom sale where most of their games go on sale for 75%.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
It,
Yeah. I would say $10 is fair if it does and if and when if it goes on sale. Because
Yeah,
I
no,
mean,
like I said,
30 is
it's
too much, but like I'm definitely willing to drop $10 on Spore.
yeah, and because it's such an old game, they've already made back all their profit on it, right? So usually the older a game is, the more it'll go on sale for because they've made back their profit, right? Anything they make from that point on is just bonus money that they wouldn't have made otherwise. So they're okay with doing like a 75% off sale because they wouldn't have gotten that sale if it didn't go on sale for 75%, right? They've already made their profit. What do they care, right? It's, a 10-year-old game at this point. Throw it on sale for 75%. See if maybe someone who wouldn't have bought it before will buy it, right? So for $10, it's definitely worth a play. It's a very, very good game. Something that I enjoy.
You guys know any similar games like Spore? Because I want to
Uh,
explore like genres like that. Like I think it's so cool. Like where it's like you progress and then like I know like I've watched a bunch of reviews of it. Like where it's like you're a single cell organism and then like all of a sudden now you're in space.
Yeah, no, there was a game similar to it that I've seen recently, but I don't remember what it's called. I'll have to look it up for you and get back to you on that. But I think Spore is very much so like a unique kind of game. Correct me if I'm wrong, JB, but is there really that many other games like it?
I mean, there's several games where you start as a character or as one group and you expand out, but one that actually goes through the evolution of process and has those exact mechanics. Not many, because honestly speaking, Spore is kind of in the same category as Sims, where it is a literal sandbox. You make your character and then you just complete whatever goals you set for yourself until you go on. Spore's a
Yeah,
little.
like
What?
I was gonna say, yeah, like if you're thinking specifically of like that evolution style where you start as very much so a single-celled organism and end up in space, there's very few things like it. But if you're looking more for like a progression like that, like you could even go into like modded Minecraft, for example, right? Where you're starting in fucking Minecraft or you're punching trees and then all of a sudden some mods you can like get a bunch of space travel and shit and get a bunch of science and tech, right? And like be running all kinds of rockets and shit, right? That's the level of modded Minecraft can go to, right? There are games like that if that's more what you're looking for, where like it's kind of like a survival game where you're starting with pretty much nothing and you're punching shit and then you end up like a super advanced, technologically advanced character, right? If that's more what you're into, there's a lot more like that.
I look into that. Yeah.
I mean, hell, any sort of genre game that's going to interest you, me and Brian combined have more than enough recommendations.
Yeah, like someone was talking to me recently about this survival game. I forget which one. And I was going into a bunch of other survival games that she could be interested in because they're more in line with what she's actually into. Because it was like one of the zombie survival games. And she's like, yeah, I don't really like zombie games. And I was like, oh, yeah, then you could try this, right? Or you could try this or this. And she's like, wow, you actually like know a lot about games. It's like, yeah, dude, like even if I've never played a game before, I probably know someone who has, or I've probably watched enough or read enough about it to know enough about it to be able to give you a review for it. Like, hey, I think this is what you would like based off of, what you're into and what you're not into. And this is why we went into like in episode 1, the watering down of games media. Like, it's good that games have their own defined niche, right? Like, not every game should be trying to appeal to every single person, right? You should have games that, I like this, so I'm going to like this type of game, right? Whereas if every game is the same, it's just kind of boring.
That
I
makes
mean,
sense.
That's one of the reasons I've kind of went back to start playing old FPS games in my spare time whenever I'm not trying to do anything else. Because not only is it a nostalgia factor for me because I grew up playing like Unreal Tournament and shit like that, but like old shooters, like yeah, in base you're just running around gunning people down, but usually old FPS games have actually stories or like actual like it's a simple romp. Like I'm not trying to be competitive. I'm just oh hey, there's that person. I'm gonna gun him down and go on about my day.
Yeah, I genuinely miss the days when like first-person shooters were actually, story-driven, narrative-driven single-player games. Because nowadays, if you make a first-person shooter, you're absolutely crazy if you don't make it a multiplayer game. And multiplayer first, right? Not just multiplayer. Like, if you don't include a single player, that's now normal in the FPS genre. Whereas before, like you said, it used to be a single player narrative driven experience, and I wish there were more games like that. There are still a lot of narrative driven shooters, but almost all of them are third person shooters at this point.
Yeah.
Very, very few are
I
first
mean,
person.
yeah, even with the whole boomer shooter retro craze coming back in, like Viscera Fest, Nightmare Reaper, Project Warlock, all of them, they follow more of the Doom tradition where there's not really much story, it's just challenging gameplay, which is cool and I enjoy it a lot, but fuck man, what I would give to have another like good Medal of Honor game, like the first Medal of Honor. That shit was so good.
Yeah, exactly. And again, right, like we get why it is the way it is. Multiplayer games are a lot easier to monetize than single player games. It's why Mass Effect 3 included multiplayer, right?
Mention, I
But
mean, who doesn't like playing games with their friends, even if they're competitive? Like we'll bitch about it, but we still go and play multiplayer games all the time because it's a lot better to enjoy something as a group in some ways.
yeah, exactly, right? And like we get it, right? But there is something to be said about the fact that like the first person shooter genre is definitely missing out on a lot of story driven, narrative driven games right now. There really just isn't that many in the market. Like I can't even think of one off the top of my head. Can you think of one?
Uh, the newest one that I can think of, it's a early access game that just came out called Viscera Fest. It's
Mm-hmm.
meant to mimic the old like 1990s games like Duke Nukem and Blood, where it's the story is kind of simple, but you see what you're doing, you have clear motivation, but you don't play as just a silent protagonist like your character Caroline, which is like this fucking bounty hunter in space, constantly makes quibs and comments. Like you'll blow somebody up, and she's like, "Oh, the sweet blood." Like it's stupid shit, but it's also it. I like it because like silent protagonists are great, and you can very easily put yourself in their shoes, but also having a character that voices some shit and you like maybe you think like them and you're like, oh sweet, that's cool as fuck, and they just said it's cool as fuck. I like that.
Yeah, I mean that's why they do a lot of silent protagonists, right? It's so that you can kind of experience the story as if you're an observer as well as your character being an observer. One shooter I will bring up though, it's not a first-person one; it's a third-person one. But have you ever played Spec Ops: The Line?
I actually never got the chance to play it, but I saw a full playthrough of it because I heard about the story. The story's fucking phenomenal.
Yeah, I've not played through it fully. I played about an hour of it before I ended up getting distracted with other things. But it's on my list of games to play also because I've heard it's an absolutely incredible story.
Oh dude, I mean, I guarantee even if you've not looked at spoilers, you've heard about the big one in that game about
Uh, I've kind of heard of it, but I have been avoiding spoilers for it because, again, it's a story-driven game, right? And that big twist at the end is really what makes you want to play the game,
oh
right?
yeah, the
So I know
twist.
generally there is a big twist coming, and it throws your perspective of your character into whack, where you thought you were the good guy, but you're not actually the good guy, right? So I
No.
know that does happen, but I don't know specifically anything about it beyond that.
It's genuinely a rough one to watch, especially if you have any knowledge of military, if you have friends or family who have been in the military and you've heard what atrocities they've had to commit in the name of warfare. It's really hard to look at because you're like, holy shit.
Yeah. That was just one that I thought of while we were talking about stories and shooters because that's typically one of as regarded as one of the best story driven shooter games on the market, right?
which happens to be third person also.
Yeah.
I
Like, if you're thinking first-person shooter type games that are story-driven, it's like, what, the Bioshock series?
which BioShock was awesome. Fucking love those games.
It was, but there also hasn't been one in how many years now? Like, what, 7 years? I think Infinite came out in 2014.
Yeah, but Arcane Studios went on to do other stuff. Like they made the yeah, it'd be a remake, reimagining of Prey,
Yeah.
which that was actually it was. I never beat it, and I've never seen anybody else beat it because it was a cool concept and the game played good, but something about it was missing in theming. I need to go back and
Yeah.
actually give it a chance and see if like the full story is worth it.
Yeah, no, fair enough. I was just thinking back about other games, right? And again, it is just a very, very bare bones market at this point.
I have
But
two. I have two games
go
you
on.
need to add to your list if you like games like that. Binary Domain. It's a weird one that Sega put out a couple years ago. It's you and your ragtag crew of people go on a trip to like I think it's like Hong Kong or something in the future, and they're basically building Terminator robots.
Interesting.
It has weird RPG elements that I thought were kind of cool. And the way you kind of like have to build trust with your partners reminded me of Mass Effect in some weird ways.
Yeah.
But every character acts like a really weird 80s action hero. Like the first two characters you get is the main character and your best friend. And your best friend's name is Bo, and he's a giant black dude who's just kind of stereotypical.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I,
What's the other one?
I can't remember the main character's name because he's just kind of like generic white dude.
Oh, no, I meant what's the other game you wanted to bring up because you said you had two.
System Shock 2. That is a classic for anybody in the FPS genres and RPG genre.
Yeah. I've heard of it, but I don't remember what I've heard of it because it's been a while.
Oh man, just watch the Ricardo Shock meme and you'll get a full context.
Fair enough. Fair enough. What's it called? Is there any other games that are coming out in the next couple weeks that you're excited for, JB?
Not that I've noticed because I mean, I Resident Evil 8 came out and SMT came out. Now I'm just
Mass
vibing.
Effect.
I forgot Mass Effect was even coming out. That's just an added bonus to me.
Yeah, I mean, Mass Effect was the only game that I was really like looking forward to coming out. Can we appreciate how long it's going to be until Mass Effect 4, though?
That's the only point that disappoints me because BioWare is no longer BioWare. Like all the people who made Mass Effect are no longer there.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of hoping it's people like with Capcom. They got a bunch of new staff, but it's actually people who cared about the properties and want to make good stuff. So Resident Evil and Devil May Cry and all that shit have hit a resurgence because they actually have developers who care again.
Yeah, I mean, like, that's the thing, right? Like, even if Mass Effect 4 is complete garbage and, like, a terrible game, like Anthem was, I don't need to play it, right? I'm just excited to see what this new team is going to do in the same universe that, we grew an attachment with during the original trilogy, right? It's interesting to see where they go from here, right? Like, where do they go after the ending of 3? Where do they take it? Because they have to make something canon now, right? If you're making a sequel, which I think they're making a sequel because Liara appears in the game, unless, it takes place when Liara is like a child, but again, I doubt that. You have to now canonize something that happened in 3, right? And that's more so what I'm interested in seeing. Again, do I have high hopes for the game? Do I think it's going to be the most amazing game of all time? Not particularly, right? But I'm still interested to see where they take the story, what they do with the characters, Are they going to go, 600 years into the future and Liara is the only link left to the original cast of characters? Or are they going to go 20 years into the future, right? And you're still going to see all of the characters that you know and love, right? Like, there's so many things that they could possibly do, and that's more what I'm excited to see. Even if the game turns out to be completely garbage, I want to see where this team takes this story, because it's a story that I have invested a lot of time and money into.
Yeah, I'm, and also as a counterpoint, like with how bad Anthem was, a lot of that can be thrown onto the higher ups because if you've heard anything about the dev cycle in that game, it was
Yeah.
truly atrocious. But at the same time, that it doesn't give me high hopes, but it does give me a bit of faith. Like maybe since EA's changed their ways a little bit with like the success of Jedi Fallen Order, maybe they'll actually give this single player game a chance and give development time proper resources, and maybe we get a great fucking game out of it.
Yeah, I mean, right? Like, it feels like with how well Respawn has been doing and how Respawn has been the only studio that they've allowed to like not make every game on the Frostbite engine, right? Like they made Titanfall, they made Titanfall 2, they made Apex. All of those are using the Unreal Engine, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what BioWare was known for. Like part of what made Andromeda and Anthem so hard for BioWare to deal with is EA's forcing them to use the Frostbite engine where, you know, like if you've heard some of the Andromeda stories, like they had to bring in one of the DICE teams to help recode the engine to make Mass Effect Andromeda, right? Like they're needing to bring in external EA teams to help this team figure out how to use the fucking engine when they've got an engine that they've proven they know how to use and they've proven they know how to make quality games with, right? Like you're basically forcing this team to relearn everything they've done from the ground up, and it's just very silly, right? And with Respawn, they basically had the freedom to say like, no, we're not doing that, right? We're not going to use the Frostbite engine and relearn everything we've spent years developing and working on in Unreal, right? And it feels like now EA has seen that, oh, maybe this can be successful if we let our development studios just do their own thing.
I think the Frostbite engine can work if it's actually done right, because the Frostbite engine is actually surprisingly it's surprisingly durable with its coding, and it also looks really stunning in some ways. So I think there's merit to using the Frostbite engine, but along with that, I'm hoping if EA makes them use the Frostbite engine, they give the development team enough time and funds to be able to learn it, because you can't, like, one of the reasons Elder Scroll games are so fucking buggy and atrocious is because they're still using the same engine, a modified engine from 1996 called, I think, Illumination.
Yeah.
And that's it's a modified Quake engine, which how long has it been since anybody's used a goddamn Quake engine?
Yeah. I
Like,
mean, the other thing with it is like I understand the merits of using the Frostbite engine, right? Like you want everyone in your company to be familiar with the same software. So like if you need to move teams around, right? Like they did with a DICE team helping BioWare's team come out with Andromeda, right? And I think they did the same thing with Anthem, right? Like you want to be able to do that, and you can't do that if one team's using Frostbite, one team's using Unreal, right? Like you just can't do that. You can't bring developers over and help out with other projects. So I do get it from a business standpoint, but there's also the point of, well, is it impacting the quality of your games, right? And a lot of games have been impacted in quality by being forced to use the Frostbite engine from developers that weren't familiar with the Frostbite engine.
yeah, I mean that's just the difference of it though, because there's so many different engines out there that you can use. Like the Crytek engine is a fucking
Yeah.
awesome engine that provides stunning visuals, but it is such a bitch to develop on that most people will go the cheaper and arguably more solid results, because Unreal Engine 4, I mean, it's been around so long, has built such a big name that Unreal Engine 4 was released mildly in a free sense to where anybody can go download it and develop basic ass scenes in it and get a feel for coding.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
And then
it is what it is. Go on.
then you have Unity and other stuff that's free, which Unity pisses me off because it can provide very unique and interesting experiences and is very well versatile, but it is also the buggiest piece of shit out there.
I mean, it also has a really bad rap because it's free, so a lot of people make really terrible games with Unity.
Yeah, but I mean, there's so many cool games that have been using Unity, like Caves of Quud or Cock, as the acronym is.
Yeah, I mean, like, one of the benefits of using Unity, right, is the development cost for it is very, very low, right? It doesn't cost very much to make a game in Unity, so you can make some really good games from it, but it's always going to have that stigma of, oh, well, it's free and it's cheap, so you only want to make cheap games so you can
Because
turn around and sell them for a profit.
the first Unity game that most people will ever think of will be Slenderman: The Eight Pages.
Yep. Yeah, no. Fair enough, fair enough. What was I going to say? Yeah, no, I feel like we can bring the gaming segment to a close now. Anything else you want to discuss before we finish?
I mean, not really. There's just been random bullshit all going on. I mean, people getting vaccinated, world's opening back up. America's still a trash fire, like it always will be, just like every other country.
I don't know what this has to do with gaming, but thank you.
I was just, I was just saying, like in general, like I don't. I'm going with the flow this episode because everything's just been weird. Like we're in that transitionary period. Like countries are opening back up, things are going slightly back to normal, but people are still on edge, and like everything is just weird. Like I've been having to deal with so many weird people at my job because people are just overtly excited and have an abundance of energy and are willing to
Fair
talk
enough.
about the weirdest things.
Fair enough. I was going to say, let's transition. I heard you've got some weird stories you wanted to tell us.
Fucking yeah, no, working in a vape shop is weird because uh sometimes you get the luxury of basically being a bartender without the glories of alcohol. So I can't drink away my sorrows. But no, I had this one guy come in 2 days ago. His name was Ronald.
Ronald McDonald?
I mean, possibly he's just some random dude from Kentucky who has a southern drawl.
So, Ronald McDonald. Alljay, you agree with this? You back me up?
Yes, we will
Alljay
be
backs me up.
referring to him.
So,
Yeah.
Ronald McDonald comes into the store.
Okay, so this is his third time I've talked to this dude. This dude's been in twice before, telling me the entire story of his sexcapades, as I will
How
refer
many
to them.
times has he offered you a Happy Meal afterwards?
None, none. But uh, I don't need a happy meal after hearing these stories because so to set the tone here, this man he's in his early mid 30s. Currently just working, living. His longtime girlfriend of 13 years just was cheating on him one day, and he broke up with her. And ever since then, things have been going downhill for this man in his love life. Like he
Ouch.
told me a story about how a random like he was talking to this girl. She showed up at his work, and she's like, "Hey, get in the car. We need to talk to you for a second." And he got in the car, and then she locked the doors and started driving. So he's like, "What the fuck's going on?" And he had to like jimmy the lock and then fucking rolled out of the car.
Yeah, this is why you don't get in cars with people you don't know that well. You know,
The current
PSA for any kiddies
there.
listening to this, don't do that. Don't do what that guy did.
Don't-
If someone ever comes up to you and says you need to get into this car right now, you go, "Yeah, sorry, my fish is on fire. I got to go home. I'll get back to you on that one." Like even if you guys came up to me and said that, I would be like, "Yeah, about that. No. I've got stuff to do. Can I get back to you on that one?"
but the current one is crazy. I don't know her name. I don't know what this person's about, but the stories I've heard. So met this girl online, and he's like, she started off the conversation with, "Okay, tell me about yourself because I know you already. I had a dream about you." And she went into this fucking wild explanation of like, "Oh, you're an ex-con. You've been in jail for 13 years. You just got out, and you went to jail because of an ex-girlfriend who cheated on you." And he's just like, "I've worked at my same employment for 14 years, and I got cheated on, but I haven't beat the shit out of anybody or done anything."
Yet.
Yeah.
So strike one right there. Strike two is about 2 days later, she's like, "Hey, come over to my place. I need your help with something." And he's like, "All right, cool, whatever." So he goes to this fucking trap house.
This guy ain't too bright, is he?
We're not talking. We're not going to talk about that part because it gets worse. So he goes.
Alright.
He
Almost
goes.
too early, Brian.
He goes
Gotta
to
miss
a,
the point here.
he goes to a trap house, and he's sitting there talking to this girl, and she's freaking the fuck out about some stuff. She's like, "Okay, go downstairs and check the back door. Check the back door." He goes downstairs. There's a back door, but the back door leads to a wall. Like it's a hinged door, but then there's just a wall. And he's like, "What the fuck is going on here?" But randomly, this girl's friend shows up, who's like a fucking 40-year-old Marine, and he starts doing shit around. Like he's like repairing a hole in the wall and putting boards on the back door. And I'm like, "What the fuck? I don't understand." He's like, "Yeah, I was really confused." And then fast forward a couple weeks, and he's at her actual place of living, her condo, and he's noticing that okay, so this woman is like in her early 40s, late 30s. She lives in a condo. She has her aging father living with her, and she is batshit insane. She has padlocks, hinge locks, and random locks on every drawer and door in the house. She's like, "Hey, you're a gun guy. Tell me about this," and pulls out her pistol that she carries, and it's a fucking beat up ass old pistol with the serial numbers scratched off. That's a big no-no.
That's a big because the only way to track a gun is a serial number, and there's a reason why they scratched it off.
Yeah. So and then the worst part of it like, and he keeps telling me all this stuff. I'm like, okay, so she has delusions, so she might be schizophrenic, or she's high on something. Like she's constantly moving around like that. That's usually stuff like the way she's acting, how crazy she is. That usually is associated with crack or methamphetamine. So she's either selling and dealing crack or meth or something else.
So when does our boy Ronald McDonald go, this is one too many red flags for me?
Oh no, he was dealing with it because apparently the sex was amazing.
Yeah, but you know what? You can also pay for that and
hold
not
on.
have to deal with 17 million red flags.
Let me continue because I'm not gonna get as spicy as he told. He told me every detail, and I don't want to talk about him because we try to keep this PG-13 for the advertisers.
Yeah, our whole zero advertisers. Hey, if you want to advertise on this podcast, hit us up at subparmechanics@gmail.com. We'll get your advertisement in.
You know it, baby. But he's telling me he's like, yeah. She asked me to go to the store with her, and I did, and she picked up 2 bottles of extra virgin olive oil, and I was like, huh, that's weird. She gets home. We get back to the store. He's talking. He's like, we get back home, and she pulls one out. She's like, this one's going upstairs, and so she uses virgin olive oil as lube.
Yeah, again, when does our boy Ronald McDonald go, you know what? This is too many red flags for me.
Apparently,
I'm out.
Apparently, she's also cheating on him.
Yeah, I don't think our boy Ronald McDonald's too bright.
Well, no.
I don't think anyone ever told this man, like, hey, if someone pulls out this many red flags, you should probably, exit stage left.
No, the entire time, because I was sitting in the store with my buddy Wyatt, one of my best friends, and me and him were just listening to this story, and we're like, Ronald, you should cut this off before
Ronald McDonald.
You should cut this off before she finds out any more information, because this is the type of woman who's going to show up at your house with that gun. And it was just wild. Like, we literally had like 5 people come into the store, and he just kept talking. So everybody would drop what they're doing. Like, somebody would come and be like, hey, I need this vape. Wait, what's he talking about? We had a group of 5 people around this dude listening to this story, just all chiming in like, holy fuck, or what the hell. And we're all come to this consensus of like, yeah, like, if there's no danger to you, like, keep fucking her if you want, like, whatever. But it's sounding more and more like this is gonna become a problem. So you need to stop this.
This is a safety issue. I don't think he should see that person no more.
I don't think
That's
so.
why I
either.
said after the first couple red flags, that's when you hit the exit stage left, please. Like that is not you don't continue to the 4th red flag and the 5th red flag and the 6th like when does he stop?
Like,
Okay, hold on. Let's say Ronald McDonald is not. Let's say he's not stupid. What if he's just that thirsty?
I mean, I think it's a combination of him being a little dumb and being way too thirsty because I mean, the way the man talks, it just seems like he does not get a lot of women. And
All right, Alljay.
that's not meant to be shitting on him because he's a cool dude, but like, yeah, it just.
How many years until Francisco turns into our boy Ronald McDonald?
Oh,
I give it 5 years.
5 years? You think in 5 years when he's 30 he's gonna be the next Ronald McDonald?
Oh yeah,
Ronald's 32.
There you go.
not far
Francisco,
away.
if you ever listen to this, 30 years when you hit 30, we're gonna be waiting. We're gonna be waiting to hear the stories.
But the sad part is like I hear so many stories like this that I'm desensitized to it. Like one other one that I want to talk, 2 others that I want to talk about. One of them, this woman comes in there a lot and she's really loud and just very in your face personality, but randomly it changed about 2 months ago. Come to find out, she was dating this dude. They got pregnant, and the dude's like, "Oh, hey, I never divorced my ex-wife. Peace out." Because
Is she really your ex-wife if you never divorced, though?
exactly. Like, but he just went back to his wife because the girl that is my regular didn't want to get an abortion, and she's like, "Okay, fine, whatever. Fuck that dude." The worst part is her family also excommunicated her because she won't get an abortion because she just doesn't believe in it. And this poor woman is just in a fucking awful spot. And I'm kind of sitting here like, I
You
don't
should
know.
introduce her to Ronald McDonald.
I was just like, I don't know what to say in this position. Like, and
That's
keep,
why I said introduce her to Ronald McDonald.
Is she
That
like an
seems
older
like a
lady?
match.
yeah, keep in mind, most of the people who unload their life tales on me are like in their 30s and 40s. I'm 22, gonna be 23 in September. Like, I don't have the life experience to be giving advice on this shit.
Do you feel old now, Alljay? You're turning 26 and this man's 22. I mean, he'll be 23 before you turn 26, but you know. Do you feel old yet?
Always felt old.
And like it's a lot to handle because I hate the fact that I feel kind of emotionally invested in some of these tales. Like I'm like, what's gonna happen next?
Find out on the next episode of...
I swear to God, Ronald comes in every Sunday or like every 2 Sundays. So I'm like, 2 weeks on the dot, he'll be back. What's gonna happen next? Is he gonna come in missing a couple fingers or some shit? I don't know.
Oh man, he's gonna come in missing a kidney. He's gonna wake up in a bathtub full of ice missing a kidney.
I swear to God, I don't know. And the last one I want to share, it's not one that happened to me, but my coworker Hayden, he had this one where this dude came in on it was like 100 degrees outside, hot as fuck. He came in, he's like, I need to get out of the heat for a second. He's like, oh, my phone's dead. You mind if I borrow the shop phone to call my wife real quick so she can come get me? Hayden's like, yeah, sure, here you go, man. This dude calls up his wife. It's all quiet. You hear the ringtone. All of a sudden, his wife answers the phone, and he's like, "You fucking whore! Cheating on me!" Yelling in the middle of the shop, going off. And Hayden just grabs the phone out of the dude's hand. He's like, "What the fuck's wrong with you? Get the fuck out of my store. You can't be doing that shit." The dude leaves. A week later, the dude comes back on the same day of, not the same day week, but a week later on the dot comes in. He's like, "Yeah, bro, I'm sorry about that. I was high as fuck on heroin, and I'm going to rehab now. Talk to you later."
Fair enough. Honestly.
At least he came back and apologized.
Yeah,
At least he's trying to make a difference in his life.
the worst.
He realized where he fucked up.
Oh my god, I just remembered this one. Have you guys seen the show Shameless? Or
Yeah.
heard of it?
Yep.
Do you know the main character? Well, one of the main characters, Frank Gallagher. What he looks like, William H. Macy.
Not even
Frank
slightly.
Gallagher, isn't he?
He's the
I
father,
know,
the
I
drunk.
know, the drunk, the dad, yeah.
Yeah, Me and Hayden were working one Thursday, and this dude came in. Great value, Frank Gallagher, and he sat down and just started talking to us. He's like, "Yeah, man, I was walking the streets of Clarksville, and all of a sudden I found this vape on the ground. I picked it up, and it said Watermelon Blast. It was pure methamphetamine, bro." And he was like, "Yeah, I started hitting it. I felt fucking great." And this dude was obviously insane because he started talking. He's like, "Qdoba's the worst restaurant chain because they won't tell you about this, but they put in dog placenta in the steak, man."
What the fuck? I'm
He
so
start-
glad I don't run into crazy people like as often as you do.
he was like, the sad part is like with him talking about the government. He was talking about government conspiracies. He's talking about how Nancy Pelosi's Skeletor and a bunch of other shit. And like he was sounding like off-brand Frank Gallagher.
To be fair, Alljay, where you work, none of your customers have time for that shit.
No more professional than that. Even then, like since I worked from home, like I fucking love it. I don't have to fucking deal with like people like I used to like in the fucking transit. Like you remember that type of life? Like we see fucking crazy people every fucking time downtown Toronto.
Yeah. Yep.
The trains everywhere. Like, oh, you know what? Let me add to this with the weird encounters. This one time I was on my way home from my girl's house, and it was like early in the morning, so it was pretty dead. Like the subway station's kind of dead. No one's there. It was just me and this homeless dude, right? And you can tell that person's a homeless person by the way they dress. So I just assumed. Now, a few minutes later, he gets up, he takes a piss on one of the door exits, right? Started forming a little piss puddle. And you would think he would sit down on a chair. Nah, he sat on his piss puddle.
I mean,
Dude,
He pulled out a cold one from his bag. He pulled out a cold one, just a brewski, for breakfast.
hey man, you don't piss yourself and then drink some beer for breakfast? Come on.
dude, I swear to God, but on the other hand of it, I've met so many cool people. Like, there's a lawyer dude who comes up from the middle of Kentucky up to my store every few months. He'll show up there in his fucking nice ass convertible Corvette, and he's told me about the shit. He's just like, yeah, man, I once represented one. He's like, I once represented this woman suing the entire state of Kansas, and won the case.
Respectable. I dig it.
That's impressive.
I meet some really cool people, but like, I don't know what it is with crackhead energy here recently, but I've been meeting a lot of them. Like, a group of these 4 old people came in the other day, and they were just shuffling around buying a bunch of products. And this one dude just kept trying to take shit off the bar, like samples, and take them out of the store. And I was like, bro, I'm gonna have to like. The only time he stopped is I pulled out a baseball bat. I was like, listen, if you don't stop, I'm gonna fucking crack your skull.
Respectable. I dig it.
Christ. Jesus
I dig
Christ.
it. Yeah, Alljay, you don't deal with any of that. Well,
Nope.
as bad with that because you're also on the phone too.
Yeah.
Like I did have some characters.
We're not
come in
even
where
in
I
a-
used to work.
We're not even in a bad area of town or anything like that. It's just random occurrences.
Yeah, no, that's what I was saying, right? Like, I worked in the same industry that Alljay does. I did almost the same thing, right? Except I was working at the actual location. So we did have the
Right.
crazies come in every once in a while who wanted to talk about their crazy stories, right? Where because he's on the phone, people usually don't have that much time to be sitting on the phone chatting you up like, oh yeah, this is what I was up to this weekend, right? Like, they've got things to do, right? Usually they're calling in because they've got work to do. Whereas where I was, like, people would come in at the start of their shift or at the end of their shift, or they'd come in on their lunch break and they would just chat us up, right? So you would hear all kinds of crazy things.
Part of me loves it because I'm a little fucking drama gremlin, and it's it's interesting and funny, but another part of me is just like, holy fuck, I have no right to complain about my life seeing what other people are going through. Like, holy shit.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, a lot of it is self-inflicted, like our boy Ronald McDonald. If he does wake up in a bathtub full of ice missing a kidney, at that point, I think we could say it was his own fault.
But yeah, no, that
At
won't
that
be
point,
his
you can
fault.
say, "I told you so."
It's crazy. Like, if we ever get like some of my friends like Hayden or Ty on the podcast as guests who have worked there with me, they have their own brand of crazy stories they can tell. Like, you'll have no shortage of content. I swear to God.
Fair enough, fair enough. All right, boys, anything else we want to discuss before we start working on wrapping up the show? Silence, thank you, both of you.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
I don't have
nothing
much else to talk about.
Fair enough. Yeah, I was thinking we're going to keep this show a little bit shorter because we're recording on a Tuesday this week because yesterday, Monday, was a holiday up here in Canada, Victoria Day, as well as being my mom's birthday, so we didn't get a chance to record on Monday, which is our normal recording day, and Tuesday is a little bit busy for us, Got to keep it a little bit shorter, but we're like an hour and 15 minutes in. I feel like that's a respectable length for the episode now. Feel like we got everything out that we needed to.
Considering the fact that we're all still sitting comfortably and could easily go for more time, but we can't, I think it's a good time.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, boys. Any closing remarks, JB?
Get your money up, not your funny up. Stay safe, peeps.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Alljay, closing remarks.
Stranger danger. That's all I gotta say. Stranger danger.
All right. Of course, leaving it to me to thank our listeners for coming in and listening this far. If you did make it this far, remember to do all the random YouTube algorithm shit, like, comment, subscribe, And thanks again for listening. We appreciate every single one of you. This has been all three of us on the Subpar Mechanics podcast. We will catch you again in 2 weeks' time. Peace out.
Stay safe, homies.